Talk. I'm your host, Kayla Haley, and this is my guest, Austin Rowe.
Rowe.
That's
good.
We've only been friends for like 6 years.
You know.
Yeah, something like that.
That's good.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
Austin and I have been watching fights together for at least 3 years, something close to that. And we've watched fights together for about 3 or so. No, it's been like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
And it's so funny because like there's a group of guys at our church who watch these fights, and whenever I come home from college, I'm always like, "Can I watch the fights with you?" It's just like very like guys' night out kind of thing. But breaking barriers over here for the girls.
No, it's definitely good to have you there.
Good. So. Yeah, you, Tommy, and Fabian.
Oh yes.
You guys are always like vouching for me and
Always.
Good. Now you get to be on my show.
Yes.
Reciprocity.
I made it.
You made it, exactly. You heard it here first. Austin made it on this show. So we've watched the fights. Want to kind of just jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about today. Yeah. There's been so much. It's been a little while since I had my last episode. Thanks for joining us again for those of you who are back. I knew you would be back though. So UFC 200. We didn't get to do a video right away for that, but give me your immediate thoughts on UFC 200, highs and low. How would you describe the whole card as a whole?
It's an interesting card. Obviously super disappointed Jones couldn't be there. I mean, that's been the whole hype for the last 2 years. You know, Jones definitely needs to get his stuff together, whatever he's going through.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can get it figured out. And then I was surprised by Lesnar's performance. You know, our buddies and I were like, oh, he's not going to do anything. He hasn't fought since, I don't even know, like 2011, something crazy like that.
5 years.
So I was really surprised he came out. Then find out he's doing some crazy stuff, doping. It's like, jeez. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think overall it was a few good fights. A little disappointing, obviously. Like I said, it was crazy just how Miesha Tate was upset.
Yeah.
Man, holy cow! I mean, it's just blown that whole division just wide open. You know.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited to see where it goes and who steps up. You know, it was kind of like Ronda Rousey forever, and now it's just like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it doesn't turn into like a black hole.
Yeah.
But
hopefully not. So that's been an interesting kind of whole other side, you know, because I mean that whole realm of MMA and women's MMA, you know, is kind of fairly recent, you know. So it's I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah. No, I want to go back to John Jones for a second. John, I mean, I have some friends in Albuquerque, and it's interesting. They actually got a chance to meet him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when they met him, it seemed like he was inebriated. Let's put it that way.
Interesting.
When they met him, and so It's interesting when you meet someone. I've never personally met him, but if you meet somebody on the street or wherever you are, randomly, hopefully most of the time you meet them, they're not drunk.
Yeah,
you know?
You would hope.
You would hope. And so it kind of makes me wonder, like, is this just like his overall lifestyle? Is this just kind of how he is as a person? I personally haven't been a huge fan of Jones. He's just not my cup of tea. He really isn't. I mean, with the different antics with him and DC, the first time they fought, and he puts on this exterior that he's like this good, you know, church-going boy.
Yeah.
But then behind the scenes, when we get to see behind the scenes, is talking like so much mess to DC. And then, and then he goes on and just his life completely is crumbling.
Oh, yeah.
You know, his foundation is crumbling.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was thinking about this to myself the other day, and I was thinking, like, John, it seems like he puts a lot of his, like, security as a person. Like, I think a lot of people want other people to like them. You know, they want to be seen as a good person, like, morally, right? They want to be seen as, like, a respectable citizen. I feel like John doesn't really care too much about those things.
To an extent, I think so.
Yeah, to an extent. But I think he cares, he puts a lot of stock in his athletic ability and his accomplishments in the octagon. And so when he got pulled from UFC 200 because of his alleged, well, now we know that it was estrogen blockers.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know, estrogen blockers are basically there because the assumption is that the person has used steroids in the past, which shuts off your testosterone. The estrogen blockers are a sign that you've been trying to regain the use of your testosterone again.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a mask, but it's just something to re-jump your endocrine system. So we see that he's been using these illegal substances. He gets pulled from the card. And did you see the conference where he basically spoke in front of the media?
Yeah.
Yeah, like just totally...
He just broke down.
Broke down.
You know, I mean, to an extent, I feel bad for him, you know, because, I mean, after trying so hard to finally get back in, you know, and everyone was like, yes, Jones is back, you know. And then he gets pulled, you know, like from his second fight. I mean, granted, his last fight wasn't the best, you know. So I don't know what's going to happen. But it's just like, okay, to an extent, you are at fault. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I personally, like I said, I haven't really been a fan of Jones in the past. However, when this did happen, I like really felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, there's something really deep internally that is, I don't know if they're just some destructive tendencies that he has. I mean, it seems like there's a pattern of self-destruction.
Yeah.
So I really hope that he gets the help that he needs. Because John, I think, you know, it's 1A and 1B with Anderson Silva, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So the two of them, and now they have these stains on their legacies of using PEDs. So it's kind of ruined. It's tainted.
It has, you know. There's definitely there'll always be this stamp, you know, on his career. You know. Yeah. I mean, kind of like Alex Rodriguez. You know, like, well, I didn't do it. You know, but come out a year later, I did it. You know. So it's like, you know, I mean, it's always a big deal when it comes with, you know, celebrities. You know, and these types of PEDs and things like that. So.
Right. Yeah, and so obviously, I mean, honestly, it seems like UFC 200 was more so. The story wasn't who fought on UFC 200. The story was really who didn't fight on UFC 200.
Yeah, really.
Starting off with Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, right? And then you've got the Jones-Cormier fight, which was a fight in the making, 2 years almost, I think, in the making. And then they had so much, it was so weird. They had so many, Dana made all of these announcements about, now we have, who did they first say was going to be the main event? I think they pushed up Brock. Yeah,
they pushed up Brock and Mark Hunt, and then they put Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, then they switched it all around. So it's like last minute, just like audible. Please let this work.
Let's just put these guys and hope it works.
Yeah,
put on a good show.
Exactly. So, but like we said, so Brock also, right?
Oh yeah.
That was a surprise.
Shocking.
Little plug for Ariel Helwani. Sorry that the UFC kind of bullied you, bro. That's not cool. We don't like bullies. But so Ariel Helwani broke the news that they were going to have Brock Lesnar come and fight at UFC 200, which was supposed to be all secret. But are there really secrets today with the internet? No.
Not so much.
No. But so Brock's on this card, and it's kind of like, okay, Brock. It didn't really elicit much of an excitement for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I enjoyed watching him back in the day, you know. He's always fun to watch, you know, but I've kind of lost interest, you know. But, I mean, it was fun. It was like nostalgic, you know, watch him fight, you know. And I was shocked by his performance, you know. I was like, wow, he's not going to do anything. But came out and put on a really good fight, so.
Yeah. Brock, the thing is that he's a really great athlete.
Yeah.
You know, I think we didn't really get to see, and that was the whole promo angle that they took, was that you didn't get to see me when I was healthy, right? Because he had the disease diverticulitis. I don't know if that's pronounced it. But so he was sick. He had the intestinal issues. He had surgery. He got back in there. So it's like, okay, we're on this like ridiculous sine curve
Yeah.
of like emotional waves because Brock's back. Woo!
Yeah.
Brock fights, he wins,
He wins.
and then he gets tested positive.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that was for naught.
Yeah.
But so with Mark Hunt, do you think that they should treat the PED usage if you test positive for any illegal or banned? I think it should specifically be PEDs, banned substance. Should they be fined? The person who's guilty of that, should they be fined similar to someone who weighs overweight misses weight on weigh-in day?
That's a good question. I think, I mean, it's cheating, you know. So I think you're overweight, you're underweight, you know. It's like it's not as big a deal. I think so. I think there should be probably should be a higher penalty for using PEDs.
Yeah, I mean, because we saw what happened to Cyborg. I can't remember his first name, but Cyborg's husband, Chris Cyborg's ex-husband, actually, Santos, I think. I don't know if you saw what happened to him over the weekend, but he had a serious injury where he got his skull got crushed in.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and I'm like, that happened, assumingly with someone who was clean.
Yeah.
Right, and you know, it brings up this larger debate of to what extent do PEDs actually add towards your performance, add towards your ability to damage your opponent.
Yeah.
And in a game of physical, like the most physical contact, more than football, right?
Yeah.
Where, like the aim of the sport is to knock someone unconscious, right? Any inches like that, especially when your opponent's not doing it, in my opinion, I think that is someone mentioned it as being an attempt of murder, and I was like, "Woo, that sounds super like intense."
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, this isn't football.
Yeah.
This isn't. I mean, even football's really scary and dangerous, but this isn't tennis, right? This isn't you winning. Typically, you know, the inverse relationship of you winning means someone else's health is going down in this sport, right?
Yep.
So if you are trying to win for the sake of winning, are putting someone else's health in danger, that's a serious thing. And you know, on the legality of it, I'm not sure to what extent how far they want to take the use of PEDs and the punishment with it. But I was thinking about that, and I'm like, there really isn't any other sport except for probably football or rugby, those full contact sports, where you winning, you know, and your ability to win is, you know, inversely relational to how someone's health goes down. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But so there's definitely UFC 200. We can quickly talk about Miesha Tate losing to Amanda Nunes.
Quite the upset.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was rooting for Miesha Tate. You know, all of it. I was like, I saw the last fight. She's really good, and so I was like, I'm excited to see more. You know, first title defense. You know, but then she just got rocked.
Yeah.
You know, she let her guard down and got hammered. So I was shocked. I mean, along with all my other friends, we were watching it. You know, it's crazy. You know, that was the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah. Miesha, the thing is that a lot of there aren't that many high-level strikers. With the women, if we're being honest, a majority of the women are typically submission artists or grapplers and wrestlers.
Yeah, that's true.
The higher, if you were to compare like their ground skills compared to their striking skills, the ground skills would be a lot higher.
Oh yeah.
Holly Holm was one of the first women who has an actual pedigree in striking.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes is another one. However, again, she's Chris Cyborg. She's just scary.
A little bit.
She's just scary. I don't even know how to classify her.
Yeah.
But Amanda Nunes, she's another power puncher, but tends to get tired in the later rounds. So to me, I would have been curious to see if Miesha could have withstood the storm of Amanda Nunes' striking in the beginning, and what the fight would have looked like in the later rounds, championship rounds. And historically, that's where Miesha shines.
Yeah.
Later in the fight.
So.
That's what she did to Holly.
Yeah. War again.
Exactly. Exactly. So who do you think Amanda Nunes should fight next?
Honestly, Holly Holm.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm excited to see what else she's got. You know,
Exactly.
another up and coming star.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a lot of those in this
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a really interesting match. You know, striker against striker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of. You know, I mean, we kind of mentioned this earlier. You know, Amanda Nunes. You know, she doesn't have the greatest cardio. But I feel like Holly Holm could probably outlast her. You know, definitely higher striking ability.
Yeah.
So I think a really good show, put on a really good fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, lately I feel like a lot of the women fights put on a lot better show than you know all the men fights. You know.
You heard it from Austin. The women fights are better than the men fights. Okay.
True.
We'll take it. So. Yeah, I think that Holly is the next best fighter. And I think, you know, I personally, the way I like to see the matchmaking work, I like to see, obviously, the top skill fighters.
Yeah.
But I also like to see the most popular fighters to fight each other. It brings more credibility, more excitement, especially to such a young women's division and a women's divisions within the UFC.
Yeah.
135 and 115. And actually, they should be adding the 125 division in here soon as well. I think that Rose Namajunas would probably fight at that weight division. But, you know, with the women still being in this, in my opinion, still a very fragile place in the beginnings of their main stardom within the sport of MMA, they need to prioritize putting on the fights that bring them the most credibility.
Yeah. I think so. I think that would really solidify, you know, women's MMA kind of all around the world. You know, really put a mark on them. You know, put them on the map. You know, I mean, you have Ronda Rousey, you know, but she's kind of in limbo right now.
Actually, I just saw an article on Facebook saying that she has just confirmed her return to the UFC.
Ooh.
Yeah. So some breaking news. I don't know if you guys have heard that yet, but so Ronda is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Ronda is, I think, she has like something like 10 million Facebook followers or something crazy on her social medias. You know, she, in terms of her stardom as an athlete, is maybe a little less, but I mean, probably her brand could really compete in a lot of ways with the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Good thing that they're working together in tandem.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think that the UFC really needs to set up Ronda for coming back.
I think so too.
So, I mean, them making this, even making the Miesha Tate, Amanda Nunes fight, I think that was a bad call.
A little bit, yeah. I think, I mean, it was a good fight, yeah. But I think, you know, they really need to start prioritizing these women fights.
Yeah, and putting the fights where the storylines can really come up to how we want it to come.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes, again, this is sport, but it's also sport entertainment.
Oh yeah.
And as much as we love, you know, I don't personally watch WWE or any of that entertainment wrestling. I honestly don't really know too much about it. But the element that I think people like about it is that there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
And when you have, you know, Ronda, who got knocked out by Holly, and this can be her comeback fight, and she has to reclaim the title.
Yeah.
Like, that's an amazing story.
Oh yeah.
You know, she's gonna be reclaiming her title, or, you know, competing for the title she once had in Madison Square Garden. You know, like, oh my gosh, who wouldn't buy that? I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the UFC, I think, I'm glad. I really hope that Holly wins her fight this Saturday.
I hope so too.
Against Shevchenko. So that's UFC 200. We've kind of wrapped that one. But, I mean, honestly, UFC 200, that following Monday morning, there was some huge news that broke.
Yeah.
UFC just got sold.
Yes. It's quite a shock.
Yeah, it was quite the shock. For $4 billion.
Only $4 billion.
Only $4 billion. Only, you know, that's just pocket change. But no, I mean, that, I don't even know what that, I mean, I know that there's like 9 zeros in a billion, but other than that, that's the most I can relate to what 4 billion looks like.
Pretty much.
So UFC gets sold to WME, IMG, Entertainment Group. It's like a conglomerate of different companies and investment companies. They get sold for 4 billion. What were your thoughts?
First, I was like shocked, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know too much other than kind of we chit-chatted about. But now thinking about it, like UFC has really blossomed in the last couple of years. A lot of superstar fighters and things like that. And even women like like Ronda Rousey. Kind of add kind of this extra advertisement. To UFC. She's been in movies and commercials. Things like that. So it kind of brings a lot more attention to the UFC. So I think. Selling it could be a good thing. Like really get the name out there a lot more. It's in a really interesting position. It's been around for a while. But popularity is going through the roof.
Yeah.
With these events and things like that. And so I think this entertainment group can really, make a mark for the UFC and kind of really put it out there. And I don't know, I'm excited to see kind of where they take it. And hopefully they do really well with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that. UFC, part of me feels like one of those grassroots fans. Because I started watching UFC when I was like 12.
Really?
Like me, like everyone else, I saw maybe, I'm not even sure if I saw it live at the time, because I just didn't even know what UFC was at the time, or MMA for that matter, but yeah. I was watching the Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, Ultimate Fighter finale for the first season. And my uncle, I don't know if you know Don Bates, but he showed me that fight. He was at my house. He put it up on the big screen. So it might have been live. I don't even know if I saw it live. Wow. But yeah, I was 12. I was 11 or 12 years old, and I was just like, "What is this? Like, this is amazing!" And my dad, you can imagine to his demise, was just like, "Why did you show her this?" Like, now she's gonna want to do it. But so here I am, 12 years old, watching this stuff, and knowing all the fighters, I would come home every Friday night. I remember back when they were on Spike TV and they had their fights on Friday nights, fight nights and whatnot, and I would watch every single fight. Like I'd be up, I'd record it, put it on DVR, come home after like a basketball game and just sit and watch it the whole night. And now that it's being sold, and now that it's like this big popular brand, I'm just like, you guys don't know anything about the sport. All these like ESPN. I know Chael Sonnen's on ESPN, but a lot of these other reporters, I'm just like, you guys really know nothing about the sport. It's great that you're jumping on the bandwagon. Good, that helps elevate our status. Yeah. But other than that, it's like, you guys don't really understand what all it took for us to get to this place, what the fighters had to do to get to this place. I mean, even Dana and Lorenzo, the Fertitta brothers, it was just this year that they got New York legalized, that they got MMA legalized in the state of New York, which was huge. It was so big. So, I don't know, I think that, with the sale, congratulations, first and foremost, to the owners, the majority stake owners. An amazing investment.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 2 million to 4 billion. I don't even know what 1,000% of return they got on their investment. But I think that they've also recognized that they might have been able to take this. This is as far as they've been able to take the sport.
Yeah, I think that's another big thing. I think this new entertainment group can really, shot put it really
far
into the spotlight.
Yeah. And especially, so I hear that the reason why, even listening to the MMA Beat this morning, it seems like the reason why, and there's an article out there as well, but the reason why they were able to project or value the company at $4 billion is because for the next TV deal, so that they're currently with Fox, there are a lot of potential suitors, who will be vying for that contract.
Yeah. And
they're willing to pay a lot of money for that. And as we saw just recently, I don't know if you've caught up with NBA and their current contracts, they the fighters have with getting TV money as well?
I haven't met.
Okay, so the NBA fighters in their union as a group, they get 50% of their TV rights deal,
Wow.
which I honestly I don't know of any other sport that has that kind of deal
Yeah.
going on with their, the franchise company.
Hmm.
And so the UFC fighters, they didn't get a penny out of this Fox deal
Yep.
this last time around. And unless they have some collective bargaining going on this next time around, I don't see them getting any of that next contract deal, which is gonna be big.
Oh yeah.
It's so much money to get.
Yeah.
So I really hope they get it together. I want this buy to really reflect well on the future of MMA fighters for their pay,
Yeah.
for all these different things. So yeah, UFC buy. It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
So much money. So let's see what else. So we talked about UFC 200. We talked about the sale. So we even talked about John Jones. So even just we talked about the testing positive, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess I kind of want to go back to that for a second. So do you think that the UFC fighters, because USADA is the independent arm testing agency for the UFC, and so you've got John Jones, right, which messed up UFC 200. You've got Brock Lesnar, which messed up the taste in our mouths. Now we have a bad taste. There's an aftertaste to UFC 200. And then you've got Chad Mendes.
Oh yes.
Right? That was a surprise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay. So first of all, when Gilbert Melendez from I don't know what their fight team's called, but with the Diaz brothers in the Bay Area in California, my impression of their group was that they're like super clean, super healthy, very whole food kind of people.
Yeah.
And then he tests positive. And I'm like, not that group. No, they're supposed to be like legit martial artists, right? Like Nate says, I'm
Supposed to be.
right? I'm a ninja you and you go ninja me and we have some real ninja, stuff.
Oh yeah.
What Nate said. He cracks me up. But then you've got Team Alpha Male now, right?
Yeah.
And Uriah Faber, it just, honestly, when you have a team that's like a well-branded team, it kind of taints the entire team, in my opinion.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm like, did you guys not know that he was doing that?
Yeah.
Guilty by association, a little bit.
I think so too.
Whose doctor did he get access to? Did he just find it on his own, or is there a community of this? So even when Nate says everybody's on steroids, I'm like, you didn't know Gilbert Melendez was on steroids?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, not surprised, homie. Everybody's on. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think that this is good for the sport, the testing in general?
It's interesting because I think it's been a popular, hot topic lately, and hasn't been too big, in the past. So it's interesting, this kind of like finally like, it's like, oh, this person, it's like everyone is tested positive, it seems like. So I think it'd be good. It brings a little bit of bad taste in our mouths, but I think it really shows that no one's above using performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, I think that ultimately it's going to clean up the sport. Someone did mention, because I can't remember when it was that they implemented USADA's testing. I don't even know if it's been an entire year yet since they started. However, someone did say it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I guess that's what this means. Like, this is what that means, because these fighters, huge name fighters, are getting blasted left and right. I mean, our GOAT, John Jones, right? Like, he's supposed to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Still in his 20s.
Oh yeah.
And tests positive. So now it just leaves a real stain on like what being the baddest man on the planet even means. Like you can't say that. You know, Dana loves to say that's the baddest man on the planet. You know, and I'm like, well,
there's an asterisk.
Yeah. I'm like, Dana, you too could be the baddest man on the planet if you use steroids. That's not true, but but you know, it starts to make us wonder and think like, okay, but these are all variables now that have to be considered. Like, what does that mean? It's like you're the baddest man, or you're the best with this.
Yeah.
So even if it's not that, you know, these steroids made you have bigger muscles or anything like that, if it helps you with your cardio or if it helps you with your recovery, well then, if you should have been tired because you didn't have that, then your muscles should be tired naturally.
Yeah.
Right? Or you know, if you're overtraining, then that's the result of what your natural body can do and perform. So,
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's such a competitive sport, you know, and it's become the hot topic lately, you know, and but it's just wild, you know, with all this stuff happening.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about is we kind of already talked and dabbled into it a bit, but Holly Holm's fight this upcoming Saturday against Shevchenko, I think is how you pronounce her last name. And she's a striker. She's going to be coming in. We already kind of talked about it, but Holly's going to be going into this fight. It's a striker versus striker matchup. Who do you think wins this fight?
You know, I'm going to go with Holly Holm. You know, I'd really like to see her kind of, you know, rise back up. You know, I mean, she lost her last fight after a huge upset victory over Ronda Rousey. You know, so I don't think she's done. You know, I think she's obviously got to come with, you know, with a winning mindset. You know, got to win this fight, you know, like everyone says. But I think, you know, if she's really gonna, you know, hold down this division, you know, she's really got to like put herself out there and really kind of dominate Shevchenko.
Yeah, I think one of Holly's. I'm a little critical of her style, to be honest, just because her first two fights. I mean, first of all, if we can just take a moment and recognize this is going to be her 5th fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
And she's already an ex-champion.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Anything can happen in the sport. But her first 2 fights were really slow. They just did not live up to the hype that we saw in, I think it was when she was fighting in Legacy before she got into the UFC. So, and she was head kicking girls left and right. Which we got to finally see her do to Ronda, which I'm like, okay, that's the fight I wanted to see that happen in. So I felt good. Sure. I felt happy about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way she fought against, I mean, and the thing is that in order to beat Ronda, you had to fight very calculated.
Yes, that's true.
She did an amazing job with her footwork.
Oh, yeah.
Her footwork was on point. But the thing is that she fought 2 ground fighters, 2 different types, 2 different styles. You have Ronda, who relies very heavily on her trips, her judo trips and throws.
Yeah.
And Holly did a great job of defending the place and the anchor of the takedown for Ronda, which is the clinch, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Miesha, who is a traditional wrestler, American wrestler, who really goes for the double leg. Or in this case, she had a really, really ugly single leg that she just would not let go of, which paid off for her. But Holly, it was clear to see that Holly did better with more of an erect fighter compared to a traditional American wrestling type fighter.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, in this fight, Holly should have the advantage. She's long. She knows how to use her reach.
Yeah, definitely.
She knows how to use her jab. She has great long kicks. She controls the distance really well. So I think she should pull it off. I would love to see her, because right now, honestly, there's it's a competition between Holly and what's her name? Ultimate Fighter winner. She was on Miesha Tate's team.
I forget.
That's so bad. I'm so sorry. I know your name. It'll come to me in just a moment. But gosh, what's her name? So, but it's between Holly and this other homegirl. She was the winner, Ultimate Fighter. But she just beat Kat Zingano.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena. Sorry, homegirl. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Juliana Pena. Juliana Pena, I think she's pretty much on a 7-fight win streak, including her fights from The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh.
She really has a pretty strong claim to the #1 contender spot.
Mm-hmm.
Holly's got to put Shevchenko away in order to be the next in line for the title, especially if she wants to fight in New York, or however this unravels. But that's the real win. That's the real win. You don't just want to win. You want to win and set yourself up for the next best situation for yourself. So that's pretty much all the topics we have for today. I don't know, Marie, do you have any extra thoughts?
Not really. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Real quick, wanted to put a plug in. If you're gonna plagiarize at the Republican National Convention, make sure to cite your sources.
Please do.
Melania Trump. We're here for girl fight talk, but we don't. I mean, actually, you know what? We should, maybe it would be interesting to put the two in the ring.
Ooh, that would be good. That would be a good fight. I'd pay to watch that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'll promote that one for you. Live and on pay-per-view. Promote that fight. So, well, like I said, I'm your host, Kayla. This is Austin. Rowe.
There we go.
I know him, I promise you. And don't forget, you guys, keep on watching our shows. We're going to be back next week. And stay tuned for our official launch, Go Fight Talk website and YouTube channel. You can download us on iTunes as well. So subscribe, like, review, rate, all of the above, whatever your heart desires, whatever's positive, do it for us. Can't wait to see you guys next time, and we're out.
Peace.